Well, I mean, somewhere like 4 years from now, I'm just going to be going ballistic, and then I'll show up to one of these, and I'll just have paint on my face with a little beanie hat and a dashiki, and I'm going to be like, "What's the deal with robot food?" And then I'm just going to be like doing this.
Well, I mean, God willing, man. I mean, it's not the worst of all possible futures.
Hello, the Sonic City Council is now in session. Thank you once again for inviting us into your headphones, your car, your home, your mind. We appreciate you very much, citizens of this podcast. And now, live via California, where I am not, Davey Sipes, how are you?
This is witchcraft. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to have you convicted of witchcraft by the town council, sir. And I bid you good day.
Wrap that gavel.
This gavel? Okay. Cue intro squeaky sounds. Oscillating sounds continue.
Yeah, oscillating sounds continue.
Music bed dissipates. And Jesse, you're on.
Yeah. Oh, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, how's it going?
Wow. Great. Super professional. How are you?
Great. I'm doing wonderful. I'm as the citizens know on this podcast, I am fully vaccinated and all of that, and so I had a plan to take a trip to vacate California for a minute. So I'm in lovely Nashville, Tennessee, visiting friends.
Yay! It looks like you're just in a closet somewhere with a Sonic City Council logo behind you. But if you say you're in Nashville, we won't doubt you. Not here.
Well, the wall behind me wouldn't really give you any Nashville sort of vibes because I have not nailed a piece of hot chicken to it. There's not a Telecaster with a B-bender hanging up behind me for any guitar players who get that reference. I have I was going to say, I have a Dinosaur Jr. Single I got at Third Man Records. So is that my proof? Do I have a valid Nashville ID?
It's proof that you're being a music nerd out there in Nashville. I'll give you that. And
I am.
Yeah. And by the way, don't you think for good luck you should nail a piece of hot chicken to the closet door just for your safe journey or whatever? It's like what's the thing, Max? The mezuzah? Am I saying it right? It's like that. but for Nashville people.
Yeah, it's a dream catcher.
Oh, we're getting stupid in the studio right now. Sorry. What were you saying,
Jason? We are, but that's cool.
That's what happens sometimes. Well, we missed you here.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. Yes, it's good to talk to you even remotely, sir. I'm glad to see that you're keeping the couch warm, the gavel company while I'm away. The lava lamp is lava-ing, the flux capacitor is fluxing, so, it's all good.
It is all good, as it should, when it could.
Yes. So, today...
Two yeses. I got 2 yeses.
Yes, you always get 2 yeses. It's always a yes for me, and you always get the final rose for me, baby. So, yes, today you have invited some dear friends of yours onto the podcast, or I don't know about dear friends, but they are they hold a special place in your heart musically, do they not?
Yeah, they're my dear friends. I'm reluctant to call you my dear friend, but it's true. So I think it's fair. It's absolutely true. You are my dear friend. And these folks that are coming on the podcast are my dear friends. They started as internet friends, but now they've become more. And who are they? You tell me. I forgot their names.
Well, they are Chase The Comet.
Yeah.
And they are based in LA, but they have moved here from Russia, and They've been a band overall from my research for many years, but I think they moved to LA in 2016, 17, and they've just been in the music scene since then. And they've got a pretty crazy history from what I was reading about. And so I always love getting the stories of people who moved to LA, not just from across America, but from around the world, because it really puts into perspective what it takes to push yourself as an artist if you're from other parts of the world. So I'm really excited to talk to them. Of course, they consist of Nika Comet on vocals and Alex Mishustov on guitar. And so I am so excited to be talking with them today, and I love meeting people from different parts of the earth. So I'm very stoked.
Yeah, man. I know. I'm stoked for you. I know how much you be about that earth.
Yeah.
I know you know what the earth is worth. So yeah, these people are going to talk our collective ear off, bro. I'm going to warn you in advance. So we might as well just go ahead and get right to it. What do you say?
Yes. Let's get into it.
Bing, bang, boom.
All right, we are so excited to have Chase The Comet on Sonic City Council today, and of course, that is consisting of Nika Comet and I hope I get this right, Alex Mishustov.
Ooh, you nailed
Pretty good.
it. Man, you nailed it. Not everybody can do so, dude. And you could. That's amazing. That's very impressive.
Well, thank you. I try to do my due diligence and at least write it out and try to pronounce it as best I can.
I was going to ask you, have you practiced that? Because it's like, it doesn't come that easily.
The previous hour right before we were getting started, I was making some notes and doing my research, so I got everything.
It's like a tongue twister, right?
Yeah, but you know what? If you take a second, just kind of break it down. It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Right. Yep.
Cool. Well, we are so happy to be, talking with you guys today. And Davey's told me a lot about both of you and about your music, and so excited to be diving into your writing process. Where did you find out about them, Davey? I forget exactly.
Yes. By the way, please let us know too.
Yeah.
We're interested, David.
Okay, so it was one of those random internet things when I was doing social media correctly, like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, when I was like posting videos and putting hashtags on them. And then I noticed that when that happened, people would all of a sudden like follow me. So I would check on them. And then one of the people who followed me out of nowhere was Nika Comet. And so I checked on this. I was like, whoa, oh, these cats have a band. I was like, oh, wow, okay. And so it just started from there. And like, you guys had a very cool presence on Instagram, which I was like, a lot of it is super baloney, but I was like, I like the music, and I really like you guys made me laugh. So I was like, I have to keep up with these cats. I have to see what they're doing. And so yeah, so it started from there. So
Awesome.
excuse me.
Nice.
But yeah.
Fascinating.
Well,
So
thank you for sticking around, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the world of you guys, and this was like my way of contributing because I can't always put it on Cover Wednesdays and stuff like that, which we'll explain later once we get into your guys' actual story. But yeah, so I wanted to have you guys on the podcast so we could kind of peel back and like talk more about like where you guys came from and the amazing shit you guys have gone through to be where you're at right now. Because in my research, I'm like, man, y'all went through some stuff that was like, I mean, we got to get into it though. So I want to ask you guys, like, we want to start the origin story. So I want to ask you guys about growing up in Russia, and you guys met in your teens, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Yeah, we were in high school together.
And I know that you, Nika, had more of your family's got the theatrical background, so you were not doing the same sort of music that I would think that Alex was playing at the time that you guys met. Is that also correct? Or?
Oh, yes, this is so true. This is so goddamn true.
Yeah.
I was into something else. She was into something else by that time.
Well, I was performing with my mom. She's an actress, so I'm like all that, artsy and like fancy. Circle, and I toured a little bit with my mom and performed at all those, theatrical festivals. So it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, and I was a punk rock kid. So.
Yes. I got it.
So
I can
Alex
see you
was,
guys.
yeah, he was. He started a band actually, and he was in love with ska punk. So he really wanted
Nice.
a girl to sing in his band. You know, like No Doubt style and all that.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah, well, that was another Russian band, but obviously,
Another role model, yeah.
Yeah,
but-
No Doubt is a good comparison. So,
Right.
so he learned that there was that girl in his school, and I moved
Who
from
was singing "My Heart Will Go On"
yeah,
all the time?
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
yeah,
Right?
and
That's
so
what she was famous for.
yeah, and I just moved from another city to Moscow. That's where I went to high school, and that's where we met. That's where we started our first band. Yes, so he invited me to the band practice, and the first time I came in, I
And
was
Nika
like,
didn't like it at all.
It's like-
Actually, she hated it.
Ah,
I didn't hate it. It was just not kind of like, what are these guys doing? I mean, come on, they were like
There was a bunch of
14
assholes.
years old.
Yeah, a bunch of assholes trying to play their instruments, and
Yeah.
trying very badly, very poorly.
And I honestly kind of had already, some self-esteem. I was like, what even, what am I doing here? And then he wrote a song that made me stay, especially for me, that I had to sing just by myself. And that's how it all started.
smart man. That is the ultimate move, bro. That's like the one thing that still works about this game. It's like you can still win them over with the right song, man. That's cool.
Yep.
I mean, she thinks I wrote this song for her, but
Oh,
the
ouch.
truth is I just couldn't sing the song myself. Yeah, but this is a secret, okay? Don't tell anybody.
okay.
Don't tell
Man,
anybody.
we peel back the layers on this Sonic City Council. I'm telling you, man. What? You got
Yeah.
anything, Jesse?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, we live about an hour north of LA. So there's a lot of, with traveling to LA as you get older and then, meeting more people that have moved to the city, you have people that move there from around America to start a dream and, sort of have a better life. And it seems like you've kind of done that twice, because not only did you make that move from Moscow to LA, but you, Nika, were just talking about moving to Moscow. So is that a thing within Russia culture itself of like moving to Moscow to make a better life or to aspire to go after?
Oh, it's
Totally.
It's such a good question, Jason.
Yeah, well,
Very
the thing is, here in America, you have so many very unique cities where
Yes.
people move, like Jersey people move to New York, let's say, or, from all over states, right? Or somebody moves to Nashville because Nashville is the music capital nowadays, right? Or whatever. There's so many cool cities in America. In Russia, there's two. There's Moscow and St. Petersburg. And
Yikes.
of course, like everybody tries to go to the capital to kind of make it happen in whatever field they're working in, just to make more money. And we also have, in Russia, we also have the immigrant problem because people from some southern countries, they also want to go to, to a city where they can make more money to provide for their families. So it's a very good comparison, yes. And for us, for the millennials, I feel like growing and watching movies like American Pie, and like seeing this whole Blink-182 thing, it was just, America is the shit, man. Like we should have tried. Okay, we were not born
Are we
here,
talking about America or California?
and California specifically. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
Lord.
make it clear because it's not the same.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, we were not born in the best country of the world. Okay, we can kind of live with that. But at least, we should go there and see, like, what if we were there in the very center of the
And
universe?
so we did.
Yeah.
For the first time.
that's
For
rad.
the first time we were just traveling together. This wasn't the first time for Nika, but when we were traveling the United States like 7 or even 8 years ago, we were just exploring the things, we were just seeing different places, different states and cities, and we liked California immediately. And
That's when
yes.
the idea was kind of formed. We also wanted to bring our whole band because we had a band in Russia. We achieved success, and we wanted to make it happen for the whole band. But, not everybody is ready to take some risks and just go somewhere without having any guarantees. Like
Even comparing to the perfect climate, it's really weird, and I can't explain it. Like, you're living in Russia, the weather sucks there very badly. It's like winter.
It's like
rain
Canada,
and stuff,
man.
and you still don't like. You're pretty young, and you still don't want to go to the United States, to California, to explore things there, to see if you can work it out there. It's really it's a mystery to me. I mean, I'm talking about my former bandmates.
Yeah. Well, and I get it. Everybody's in a different place in life too.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like this is something I have to do, and then that's not jiving with them, I think everything sort of works out the way it's supposed to. And that, for you guys especially, we've interviewed other bands on the show that have been, 2-piece bands where it's just two people. And in a way, it's almost easier with you making that transition because you don't have to coordinate 4 or 5 people moving to a whole other country and then worrying about getting, everybody having jobs and everybody finding a place to live. It's, for you, there's a lot of logistics
The
involved.
point is, we were willing to move the whole band with us.
Yeah, and
that was the part
right
of the
when
idea.
we came, we started working on finding new band members because for us it was always very important to have a band. It was about getting together with your friends, playing music, hanging out together,
Like
going
sharing
on
the
tour.
lifestyle, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just living this whole lifestyle, and I'm not even talking like about like being rich and dream and whatever. Just having fun together, making money with your music, not having to like go to work 9 to 5. That was the goal.
Chasing the rainbow.
Yeah, initially when we were in school, and just so many people simply gave up on that because they were expecting us to do something. Okay, well, we did something, and actually it's interesting that you started talking about being a 2-piece band because at some point during our journey here, we actually came to a realization that we are so done with looking for musicians, Chase the Comet was started in 2017, but Alex and I started playing music together back in 2005. So it's been 16 damn years, of looking for a damn drummer.
Not all the time, though.
Well,
but still, yeah.
mostly drummer.
Yeah.
Come
Most
on.
of 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know how it is, right? You're talking to a good drummer, and he's already playing in 8 bands.
Well, I was going to say, I'm a bass player. And so in our town, it's about 500,000 people. So growing up, it's not necessarily a small town, but it's like a little big city. And within the music community, everybody knows everybody. So as a bass player, as I'm getting to know more people, everybody's asking me to play with them because I wasn't a guitar player who happened to play bass. I am a bass player, and that's my main instrument. And it's the same thing. Davey's a bass player as well and a guitarist. And it's the same thing with him. And same with drummers, too. It's all the good bass players and drummers get gigs playing in town with a bunch of different bands. And
Totally, yeah.
it's that struggle of, you can find
They
a ton
don't sit unemployed. They don't sit unemployed.
No, and and that's the thing.
They're pretty busy.
Yeah, especially if that's something you're passionate about. Oh, go ahead, Davey.
Oh, I was just wondering, is it like that back home, like in Russia, guys? Was it possible to make like a decent living touring the country playing music at all in any sort of way, or was that not?
Of course. Yeah, like in any other country, Russia has its own, rock scene and
for sure
pop scene and everything else,
the music industry.
Yeah, it's a pretty big country, so we have our own music industry. We have a lot of friends who are famous musicians that we played with. Alex actually opened up for some pretty huge bands when he was working in a band as a guitarist, like for Metallica, Linkin Park, Muse, there's a lot of things going on, but for us, it was like, all right, so once we get to that level where we can tour the country every year, play summer festivals, there's nowhere to grow, and I already started writing songs in English by that time.
And also we just talked to the people who just did that. They made it happen, like famous, they consider to be famous musicians in Russia, and they shared some experience with us that there's no way of escaping this circle, you know. Once you're famous and you just get to play the same venues all time long, like every next
Every
year is
single
the same,
year.
the same club, the same venue, the same equipment, you know, the same sound guy even, and
the same circuit of summer festivals every year.
Yeah, it's just very limited, you know, in general, because of the language, you know, because of the language.
Yeah,
because it's not worldwide.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
And then maybe, you know, once in like 2-3 years you get to tour and play for Russian immigrants all over the world, but it's kind of limited too, you know.
And it's kind of lame too.
Hey,
Yes,
it's
lame.
not lame.
Yes.
Be nice.
No, to me it's lame.
But yeah, but we thought, okay, well, we're not there
Together.
yet. We did not tour Russia, you know, and make decent living of that. So we thought, okay, why don't we go and try it there? Because once you make it in America, you make it everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
much,
so that's
pretty
still the
much.
prevailing formula. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because it seems like I've talked to different touring buddies of mine about this, and we had early on in the podcast we had Tobias, the lead singer and guitarist of Softkill, on here, and he was talking about when an American band tours Europe, then that's sort of like the pinnacle of making it. And there's bands that they will tour the UK and Europe and develop a following, and then come back to the States, and then they'll do really well. And I think it's interesting. It's kind of the opposite with you know, you guys, where it's like you're looking at Russia and you're doing well, but you see this potential, you know, this new life for yourselves, and you kind of see it mapped out, and then you go for it here. And I just think it's really interesting, especially I wanted to ask about this. So I was reading your bio, and you got your start on an American Idol-like show in Russia that was for bands, right? And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, was that a huge eye-opener, wake-up call? Because I know when people audition for, like, American Idol or The Voice in the States, they might have this idea of what the music business is like, and then they, you know, or what, you know, being a famous musician is like. And then sometimes these shows could be kind of like a rude awakening, or it could be a positive experience. So how was that for you guys?
Definitely interesting. Yeah, it was both actually. It was an eye-opening experience on the one hand, and on the other hand, we were just 18 or something, 18, 19. We were pretty young. And
we were just drinking
we were just kids,
all the
you know,
time.
we were punks actually, and we had no money whatsoever.
Nice.
But we had a chance to see how the pros work, and I guess we considered for the very first time that the band can actually be your professional activity, not just a hobby, but something you constantly work on. So we started practicing a lot, and so the sound became better, like the tightness of the band became better. And it was pretty tough from the point of view so we had to prepare one song every single week, and it wasn't our song, it was like a cover. So basically we were in the position where we had to come up with something, you know, in a very short period of time, and this was going on for 2 months. So I guess we have learned a lot from this
musically.
project, musically, and I don't know.
Well, trying to answer your question specifically, Jesse.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, and I agree with Alex, it was both. And a rude awakening. And at the same time, we were very, very hopeful. Because it's a funny... We actually remember about it, and we laugh every time. So right before the project, Alex and I started dating. And the result of that was that we both started being really happy, so we started eating a lot, and we both really got fat.
Actually, it's the opposite, right? I mean, when you are sad and unhappy, you start eating like double.
No, for us it was the other way, because we started, you know, like going out together,
Yeah, we
and we
started
would like
eating
go
together.
to McDonald's and
Sure.
shit. So we both were kind of like big, and we keep remembering about that moment when it was the summer, like a month before the project, and we were laying in bed, both crying, like, why is shit not happening to us? Like, why? Like, we're so
fucking talented, and nobody gives a shit about
yeah,
us.
like, what's going on? Like, how did we make it work? And then literally a month later, we auditioned for the project. We go in, they take us in, and then the project starts and we have to sign a contract. So can you guys imagine? And this is also for all the people who always, people who are far from musical industry. I know you guys are in, so but people are always like, oh, why don't you go audition for The Voice? Like, you have a voice so good and stuff like that.
That's the most common question we get, actually.
Yeah, and they don't know. But actually, when you sign up for these shows, even before the show starts, they make you sign a contract with them. That is just ridiculous because you owe them your life.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. And what you get from it, like, I remember up to this day that as a front woman of the band, I had to receive 5% of the earnings of the band.
Mm-hmm.
He, as a songwriter and a guitarist, would receive 4%, and everybody else would receive 3% of the profit of the band.
Ugh.
For the next 7 years.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's like the TLC contract from back in the day.
Like slavery.
Holy shit.
That's draconian.
Yeah, that's that old
That was
school
one
like
thing.
Arista Records slavery shit. Oh man.
Exactly. So that was the one thing. And then the other thing that actually happened to us and that we couldn't digest for a long time, that after the project, we were kind of dropped. So they sponsored one record for us. Like, one producer came to our practice and he's like, yeah, you got to change that. So literally, like, changed everything in what we were doing. And then they disappeared.
Yeah, and we were hopeful. We were trying to reach out to them. We were calling them like constantly, and they wouldn't respond. And it's just
and
it was
then
so upsetting.
And at some point, we were like, "Why did this happen to?" Like, we didn't treat it as something good, which we realized later that they kind of were not interested. So it gave us the opportunity to keep going.
We treated the situation as the lost opportunity.
Yeah,
like, we couldn't kind of
get over it.
Interesting enough for them, to start working with us. So we took it hardly. I mean, not hardly, but like
heavily. Yeah, it was really hard for us because we thought that we lost an opportunity, that we lost everything, and it was hard because.
But on the other hand, we kind of realized, okay, some people probably know about us because they watch the TV and they watch the show. Probably some people know about us. So this is the good time when we start recording our first album. And that's what we did. Actually, we started recording our first record.
Eventually.
Yeah, and we started kind of slowly working with the existing audience. So we started seeing who is still supporting us, who's rooting for us. And
we screwed that up too eventually because we changed our band name and then we changed our band name again when we came to America.
But this happened 3 years later.
But this happened a little later, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think that's a smart move on your part. Just realizing that even if that was a devastating thing, that you had to get moving while you had the opportunity to do so. And it's also almost like, I don't want to say comforting, but it's almost like reassuring to hear, because I think that there's this perception in America that it's kind of like, oh, this is the way that it is here, because you hear these horror stories about people going on these shows like that. And I think that it's, it kind of just shows you that no matter where you're from, you kind of have to make your own way. And it's better if you guys do that, because your music is so eclectic and so diverse that I don't know if it would work.
And
Man, I think it works out pretty well for some people. Some singers probably they don't wanna write their own songs. They are pretty cool with just touring and singing, and they're cool if somebody else is taking care of them, right? Like writing the songs, organizing the tours, taking care of all the necessarily like details and stuff. So probably for some people it's a good idea, to go to the show, and if you just want to sing and if you want to earn money and you don't want to care about anything else, that's a good idea for you probably. It wasn't just our case.
Yeah.
We hope so. That's what we try to convince ourselves, with the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we want to have this creative freedom,
greater,
for sure. I'm sure you guys too.
David, I actually really
I did
love your.
for a while. Now I gave up, but.
I really love your surroundings there. That's a pretty cool room.
Oh, this is Max's palace. Lord Maxwell lives here. I am but a humble guest, but yes. This is Desert Sound Studios, where we record things like Jesse's band, Rogue, or me and Max's band, Disaster Cabinet. And maybe someday you guys can do a session. Except you guys are moving
That's
somewhere?
neat.
Are you guys moving to Israel? What's the deal?
Well, no, we're not moving. So the thing is that
Don't leave
we've been
me,
trying to
guys.
figure out our huh?
Don't leave me. Don't
We
go.
won't do it.
Please don't go. Okay.
So
Now
the
explain.
thing is that it's actually kind of very necessary for us to go out of the country because we have to get our artist visa. And
Oh.
you will probably be surprised, the only place where you can get a visa is out of the country. Because you can't get a visa to America while being in America.
Yeah. It's like to
But
buy
you
a
got-
ticket.
but you
a
got
plane
one to
ticket
get
to
here?
America being in America.
Yeah, but when visa is not something that you get for life. You have to actually renew this shit. And so last year, we were approved an artist visa for all our achievements. The Immigration Service approved our artist visa. So we have the papers that we were approved, but we don't have the visa. So for a year, for this damn COVID year, we've been waiting for an opportunity to finally fly out of the country, go figure this out. And this is actually a very important question for us because it's holding us back so much because we have a few contracts that we cannot sign because we don't have this visa. You know, we have a guy.
Speaking
Oh,
of
shit.
contracts again.
Yeah.
But this time,
yeah,
good,
'cause,
this time, good ones. Hopefully, right?
Oh yes, totally. Yes, we actually had this
With a bigger
fantastic.
percentage, dude.
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
We actually
Good,
have
good.
this fantastic story of, like the classic miracle story, how we performed at Whiskey A Go Go, and then a certain guy came and saw us playing, and then he was just overwhelmed and he didn't expect what he saw, and then he suggested us an investment contract for a pretty good amount of money. And the only problem that why it didn't happen is because we don't have an artist visa. So we need to get that to be able to move on with this contract, or if something changed and that doesn't work, we worked with a guy who said, okay, I want to introduce you to 2 very big labels, and he's a pretty serious guy.
Nice.
But the first question that they're going to ask is, how are these Russians going to make our money back? And for that, we unfortunately need that visa. So in July, we hope to fly out to Israel because that's where the American embassy is open at the moment. And they're conducting interviews for our type of visa. So we were supposed to leave on June 1st, but unfortunately, Israel does not let independent tourists fly in as of right now. So we're waiting for July.
Because things are too calm to accept tourists right now, is my understanding. Things are too calm, so that
Well,
they
yes.
wait.
Let's put it this way.
That's a fact.
Yeah, well, it's actually, you'll be surprised, but it's still because of COVID.
Yeah, the war situation
No
has
shit.
been going on for more than 70 years,
Yeah,
as far as we learned. So
Well,
yeah, it
obviously,
has
yeah.
no connections with the war. It's just because of COVID. They have, a scheduled reopening, as well as a lot of countries in the world. They don't let tourists in. So Israel is actually
Only
one
the
of the
citizens,
first.
yeah, only the
one
citizens.
of the first countries to open for tourism in July. So.
Wow.
I'll be god danged. Okay.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely. Fingers
fingers
crossed for
crossed.
you
I'm
guys.
knocking
I'm
shit
sure it'll
over.
work out. And
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you.
I
Yes.
can't wait to see what you guys have in store with all of that coming up.
Thank
and
you.
So, yeah, of course. So since we were talking a little bit about the music and you were talking about sort of arranging and the writing process of this, I'm really curious with how this works because, like I mentioned earlier, it's super eclectic, which I love. So it's got aspects of pop in there, rock, metal, with some of the tracks that have more of a drum machine vibe. It's like electronic and a little bit of hip hop. It's like really eclectic. And I think as a musician, I appreciate that because it's, you don't hear that kind of blend every day. and just kind of wanted to dive into how does the writing process work with melodies and arrangement, and just how does a Chase the Comet song roughly generally get written from like start to finish?
Want to know some craftsy, some craftsy secrets? Yeah,
Yes.
Whatever
it
you want
depends on
to
the
share.
songs.
Divulge
It
them
depends
all,
on the
bro.
song, really. Sometimes Nika comes up with some lyrics ideas or chord progression ideas, and she just shows the song to me, and I try to make an arrangement out of it. Sometimes I'm recording something already, putting together all the instruments and all the parts, all the riffs, etc. And then I force Nika to write the lyrics, and she doesn't really like it.
Like, he literally forces me. Like, he's not kidding. He's like,
Okay.
when are you gonna write the lyrics for this one?
Yeah, I mean, this song is ready. All the instruments have been recorded. Everything is ready. Now we need the lyrics. We need your vocal lines.
Yeah, and I would drag it, you know, like, I don't know. And then eventually I would poop it out.
All right.
Right on.
Drop one. Nice.
Also, you know what? I like working with Nika's phone memos. Voice memos. Yeah,
Voice
that's what they're
memos.
called. Yeah. So she would just sing a little bit of the lyrics, like maybe an idea for a chorus or for a verse, and if it's catchy and if I like it, it sticks in my mind. I mean, it sticks to my how do I say it correctly?
Sticks in my mind.
Sticks in my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sticks in your
and then
mind.
I just wanna, I want to kind of expand it, I want to make a song out of it. So we had a couple of songs being written this way. Actually.
Yeah, and these ideas, they usually come to me when I'm driving. So I just take a phone and record them real quick before I forget. And then every time I feel like I want to write something, I would, and I don't have anything coming to my mind right away, I would just dive into those voice memos and be like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. And honestly, at the moment, we have like over 5 songs, well, actually more songs that are fully written. And we haven't even started working on them because I always feel like I don't want to release a song unless I have some financial backing for it.
These days you need a budget because you can't just drop out a single and just expect that everybody's going to listen to this single.
No.
You wanna create some some fuzz. You want to create a promotion. You want to put some budget into the release of the song, and you want to film a video. You want to especially considering all the social network these days like TikTok and stuff. You want to make sure that when your song comes out, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's stressing me out so much.
It fits all the formats.
Can I
all the
say?
existing formats.
Yeah,
So-
even
Yeah,
to
go
make
ahead.
sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, like, one of the things that always has just been, like, impressed me about you guys is the social media presence. Like, you guys have such a unique presence, and the videos are so well crafted. And I know you guys are doing all of this, right, in terms of producing it and conceiving of everything. Like, I'm just like, when do you guys, what do you do for downtime, I guess, is like my less serious question. But I'm also like, how did you guys come to do it the way you do it? Like, is this, because it's so much better than everything else I see out there in terms of execution, like in terms of production quality. So I'm just like, is this just stuff you guys are handy with? Or, it's like, did you get
Thank you.
Well,
ask
first of
about
all,
it?
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I was just hella curious, like, how did you come to be so deft at doing all this stuff? And like the way you interact and all this stuff.
Well, I guess it comes from, from our experience, like back in Russia, because what you see quite a young band, right, that appeared here, say, 3 years ago.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. But in fact, as I said, we started back in 2005, and all we've been doing during all these years, we've been doing our band, so of course it's a lot of experience, it's a lot of learning, it's a lot of hours of creating music, because yes, we create our music, we record everything at home, actually in this very studio here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we just happen to know people who happen to be Russian who help us mix, film our videos, and they're all very top-notch professionals that we managed to work out with because they're also our friends. So it's always,
Nice.
it's always good to have friends in the area that you work in. But as I said, this doesn't happen just overnight.
Totally, yeah.
It comes with us from the place where we came from, because in Russia we happen to be, pretty experienced guys. So here, we were able to use our connections and kind of find the team. So most of the stuff that we create, behind the scenes videos, all our everyday social media content, that's what we create ourselves. Alex is super good with like stories, and we both edit stuff.
No, I'd say natural curiosity helps us a lot, because when you see something that is well done, and actually you can save it. I mean, on Instagram, if you like something, you can save it.
Yep.
You can save an example of a post if you see a legit picture or a video being edited like in a cool way and you like it and you want to learn how to do it, or it's just a good idea for the future reference. So I'm constantly being curious, and I'm saving some ideas that I like, and then I try to kind of rethink them in our own way. So to make it look unique and interesting for the followers, for the audience, And,
So it's a lot of learning and creating. Also, it's become really like a necessity. Okay, I have to post something.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to do it regularly, because otherwise, I'm competing in people's feeds. I'm competing with the best of the
that's
best.
so important to remember.
Yeah,
you're competing with Beyonce, John Bon Jovi,
Yeah,
maybe even
whoever.
the Beatles.
Yeah.
the
I never-
existing
wow.
ones.
So you have to make sure you create appealing content,
Yeah.
and keep people engaged as a personality and as a musician, because otherwise, if you just release something once in a year and then you're like, yeah, go check out my new song, like, who fucking cares, dude? Come on.
Yeah. And
if
also
you haven't
since,
been
Fair point.
since we're all here musicians, it's important to know the basics of the editing, because we're like previously we were talking about the music only.
Yes.
But editing is crucial and essential. I mean, knowing how to put together like simply in a simple way a couple of videos and make a good looking video out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe from the band practice, maybe from the recording session, maybe
Yeah.
maybe buy a fucking GoPro and just record yourself while you're performing.
swimming in the pool,
Or
man,
swimming
does
in
so
the pool,
good.
or just recording a live show or your band practice and make something interesting out of it.
Yeah.
So many. I mean, we got the tools. I mean, pretty much everybody these days. We have the tools. We have the cell phones with the good quality cameras. So just film something, shoot something real quick, and then kind of edit it, or just put it this way, like in a raw format. It still works. It's still better than nothing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
many musicians, they kind of forget about it, or probably they think that it's not that interesting, to show their like a
He
band
does that too.
band practice process. What's interesting is like the official music videos, right? But how often does it happen to the bands, right? We don't release every single day another official music video, but we can
Yeah.
share
No.
some of our personal experience with the audience, and they would appreciate it.
I was going to ask with the social media thing that we were just talking about, and you were shaking your head, Nika, and I feel the exact same way when you started talking about that. And I think every artist to an extent feels that way, even though it's a necessity. And I think that Alex just dropped a lot of knowledge as far as how to approach it and the way you can think about that. Because you're right. I mean, the world literally is, your competition, or I look at it like a colleague, that if everybody has access to all these bands when you're just scrolling through your phone, you want to compete with these bands, or you want to be seen as an equal, as far as content wise. But is, since you guys do it at such as Davey mentioned, such a good level of, execution, frequency, just consistency, is that something that, can take its toll on the creative process if it's stressing you out, if you're putting your energy into that, you have less energy to write? How do you manage?
Oh my God, Jesse, I love your questions, dude. I love your questions.
Thank you.
They're so on point, because I came out of the 1.5 months of doing nothing for TikTok, let's say, Yesterday, I forced myself, and Nika has been forcing me, like, hey dude, let's do something, let's record something, let's just execute, because we cannot be silent for a month and a half, If we started growing something, we gotta keep on, and I just find it really difficult to be creative all the time, and I think it's okay, it's normal. We cannot be creative all the time. We can use the tools how to kind of activate our creativity, but I felt like I had no ideas what to do whatsoever, and I had no desire. So, and I know when this happens to me, I just gotta wait. I don't know for how long, but it's really hard.
See, when that happens to me, Alex, I practice
on top
more.
of your creativity all the time.
Right.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was just saying, like, so when I get to that kind of space where nothing creative is really popping, I tend to practice more and just like learn songs, like other people's songs, and practice.
That's what I've been doing. Yep,
scales
that's what
and
I've
shit
been
more.
doing.
Just what, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my approach.
I call that
to it, yeah.
autopilot because it's like I know I'm still keeping up the chops, so to speak, but the real practice of making up something new is not in that kind of practice, and I know it. But some days it's like you said, when you're not feeling it,
it's also.
I don't know. What do you say, Nika?
It's also it's the cruelty of the modern world that, we feel that our creativity is the songs that we write. But unfortunately,
it's not enough.
Yeah, as I feel that I have to create constantly, not only musical content, which is, I can't push it out every day. But let's say with TikTok, you have to post 2-3 videos a day. And I feel like that's very limiting because I totally feel, stressing out about that when I don't want to post. And it's also, even me being a very extroverted person, I feel that I want to just close in my shell. And even though I don't really see people often, as I mentioned before, like I've been staying in for the last 2 weeks almost because we were supposed to leave. We didn't. And now most people don't even know we're still here, So there's no shows, there's no meetings or whatever, there's no work. And I still feel like I want to stay to myself because of this constant pressure, social media pressure, that you feel that, I have a song coming out. I have to start promotion a week before, and now I don't have enough money to promote it for new audience. At least I have to promote it for old audience, and blah, 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 blah. And this is a lot of pressure. Honestly, like, I barely, find ways to deal with it, and I become very annoying and annoyed. And that's the moment when he starts to deal with it, and it's not good. And I feel like all of us musicians, especially when we're independent, and in our case, we both do stuff. As I said, we have a team, but that's a team that we pay. They do freelance stuff for us, but most of the time we do it just ourselves. Nobody helps us. And it's just really, we have to find this golden middle between staying on top of our game and not stressing out to the point where we burn out and don't want to create anything.
Yeah, that's a real thing to be aware of, and everybody can hit that in their own way, and come across that, or find their own areas of burnout. For me, I just recently, this has been a topic I've been thinking about because I just recently posted. I've posted videos of me playing at gigs, and things like that, or like if our band has done a cover video, I'll post it. But I was so afraid for the longest time of just putting a camera in front of me and just filming myself playing like raw because I just didn't want people to see that. And while I've been here in town in Nashville, I'm staying at a buddy's place and he's got a bass here and a little combo amp. So I don't have my gear. I don't have any of my pedals, my bass, my amp, anything, my little recording interface. And I went, you know what? If you want to do this, you have to just start just break the ice and jump in the pool. Just film yourself, and it's not going to look great. It's not going to be perfect. And then start doing this stuff when you get back home. Just start filming yourself.
So the thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. you know.
Yeah.
And many people love it like the raw way, you know. If you are real,
Yeah.
if you are just in front of their cameras, in front of their phones, right? And many people love when there's not too much of editing or like effects or like, you know,
Right.
like something hiding from them. The rawest it is, the better for some people. So don't forget about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and-
go ahead.
David?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, ladies first. I was just humming.
I just wanted to say, you know, if musicians are gonna watch our this podcast,
Hopefully they are.
yeah, the good advice for everybody would be, you know, if you just want to up level your content in any way, the good idea would be to get a light. We have one,
We can show this.
yeah,
one.
and we can show you the other one. We actually have two.
Just little things here and there.
Yay! This is one of the
Just-
things.
Ooh.
Yeah,
little
so this
cutie.
is the light. Yeah, this is
working?
where you put your phone, yes. And then
Okay,
this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
light. And we have a bigger one, and my phone is on it right now. And it just makes the image like level up, you know, and then you do whatever you do, just like I do with my Cover Wednesdays, you know, it's just basically me singing, sitting in front of the phone, you know, for an hour and just talking to the people.
Everything can be improved, and that's okay to invest some money into what you're doing, especially if you're passionate about what you're doing. So for
Yeah.
instance, if you are to share some content of you to your
Playing.
social media, of you playing, of you just being you, maybe it's worth considering to buy a good video camera or a good GoPro or maybe a good phone with a good camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean. On the same level with the good instruments and good pedals, you know, effect
Because we all,
pedals and-
as musicians, we
Yeah.
all care about what our mixes sound like.
or what instruments
Yeah.
we play
Yeah.
or what strings
and
we're
our
using.
gear.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
our
And then
gear.
people just
No, it's
post
true.
shitty
And this
pictures
is-
from
this is-
rehearsals.
this is a part of our gear as well, you know, like cameras, microphones probably to capture the best sound possible. And
yeah, right? So this is really important, and I feel like, you know,
Nobody really
this
talks about it.
this is the
Yeah.
first step
No.
for people to, you know, to take their game to the next step.
Because again, we're competing with some bigger labels and bands, and if they see a shitty picture, a shitty image of you, you probably have
Ding,
no
ding, ding,
chance.
ding,
Yeah,
ding.
you have no chance to to attract somebody's attention. And if your quality is good looking, it's funny how many people think about us. That we are signed to a label just because we post decent videos and just because we sound good on our records, you know, people think we are signed to a label, which is not true. We're
Totally.
not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
many people were thinking about us like this way, just because they saw some decent content, and this is not too difficult to create one, you know.
Yeah. Well, and if it looks
Oh, yeah.
professional and it sounds professional, then, you know, people will just make that connection, you know, and they're not going to doubt it. And it's, you know, I think you bring up a lot of great points with all of that stuff, and everybody can do that in their own way. That's the best part about this, you know.
Yeah.
Coming from what we were talking about earlier, where it's very formulaic and they want you to change this, and this, you can, as much work as it is doing it on your own, you can be a band as eclectic as you are and unique as you are, and it doesn't have to fit into a mold, because you guys definitely don't fit into a mold. You know, like when I heard the first song I heard by you guys was Gone, and that was Davey sent me links to all the Spotify and everything to check it out, and that was the first one he sent. And
Which one? The electric or the acoustic?
the electric, and then I went and heard the acoustic on Spotify. And
All right.
with that, it was something I had heard before, in the sense of like, it reminded me a little bit of like that synthy alternate rock, like Evanescence kind of vibe. But with the way the song was arranged and structured, it just didn't fit that mold completely. It had this, you know, fresh take on these different sounds that I had heard before. And, you know, it's something to where you can find the people who would be into that directly with social media. And you can find, you know, nowadays I think it's, people want that because they're tired of, in general, just formulaic content. And you see these bigger artists kind of following suit with doing really unique and ambitious things in the last few years.
Yeah,
True.
It's true, but we're all. I guess we're all just also waiting for the rap wave to be over, to finally.
it's not enough to wait,
It's actually very interesting. My mom told me about this the other day. So she's
my
an
God.
actress, as I mentioned, and she was given a class to a young girl who wanted to enter a drama school. And well, when you enter a drama school, you're supposed to sing. It's not like the main exam, but it's one of your skills as an actor. You're supposed to be able to sing. And when my mom told that girl to sing, she said, "I cannot." And my mom's like, "Well, like at all?" That long misunderstanding. And so it turned out the girl only listens to rap. That's why she cannot
Where nobody
sing.
sings.
Can you imagine that? That fucking blew my mind because, and my mom was also, she was overwhelmed because she said, well, when we were kids, like her generation, my generation, probably the generation after us, right? We probably, like when we were kids, we would sing along to the songs that we heard on the radio, and that our parents listened to, and we sang along. But now that they listen to rap, they don't sing along.
They rap along.
Can you imagine? There's the whole generation of kids who do not know how to sing.
There's no knowledge of notes whatsoever, of chords, notes, and stuff like that, And that's terrifying.
And the craziest thing is that the girl actually graduated from a musical school and knows how to play harp. So she has the musical ear. She just cannot use her voice and coordinate that with her musical ear. Isn't that crazy?
Well,
Crazy
I call on this particular girl, the story in question, the girl that was studying with your mom, I call bullshit. I was like, if you play the harp, then you have enough relative pitch to fucking sing. I'd be like, all right, you listen to rap? Here, bitch, listen to this, sing this. That's how we do it where I'm from. It's like, I don't care what you think you could do. Let's assume you could do it. And if she know how to play the harp, then I'm like, then you know a scale. Bing, 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 sing it. I'm like, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's like, because I was like, out here, we grew up out here and playing in Los Angeles and the wider suburb areas. It's like, you get like cut from a band real quick, you know what I mean? And they don't tell you why, but you have to go back and find out later if you're friends with somebody in the band. And that's how it was for me growing up. It's like, I would get an audition or I'd be in a band for a while, and then all of a sudden, I don't get the call anymore. And then I realized like I had to apply myself more as a musician because I wasn't meeting the standard. But the way they do it is like they don't tell you directly. They just say, all right, peace out. So coming from that perspective, I'm like, you either have to put up or shut up. And I'm like, she needed to fucking show the goods. I don't care if you never heard somebody sing in real life. I think that you should be able to sing. But
that's
I'm
bullshit.
saying that,
I think it's bullshit.
I think it was an excuse. It was a cop-out. I'd be like, just try. Even if you literally never sang. Just
no,
try.
Of course. Yeah, no. Of course she did try.
It ain't hard. It doesn't sound good, but it ain't hard. I just did it.
Yeah, of course. She eventually, like, they try to work on it and everything. But, I mean, like, how crazy is this that they don't sing? It's not in their habit to sing, And for me as a singer, it's crazy because I started singing when I was, like, 3 or 4,
Right.
And
it doesn't really mean that
Are they listening to the same rap music in Russia as we have here, though?
Right?
Say it again, buddy?
They also have Russian rap, which is worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the world, right? It's all over the place, the rap music. But there's also some pop music. I mean, at least in pop music, people still sing, mostly, right?
Yeah.
And it's still pretty popular.
Yeah, but this was just, that was just a side story to say
something to think about.
That
right?
we're all
that's how it happens
here.
We tell a side story and then we go down the rabbit hole. That's how it happens.
That
was
well, and that's
sir.
an interesting point too, because I remember in high school, it was I graduated in 2010. So, and the class that I came up with, there was this whole collective of people that were into punk and metal and classic rock and bands, as well as like hip hop too, because we all grew up on that as well. So it was this mix of both. But then it was weird. It seemed like right after that, within the couple 2-3 years after that, it sort of dropped off and it became all about pop or rap. And it's just interesting to like.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything against any genre of music. I like
It just
artists.
took over. It just took over.
Yeah,
It just took
it's just something that's interesting to watch how trends shift and stuff like that, and depending on where you grow up and how you grow up and like when you're going to high school, how all this stuff could be influenced by what's going on around you.
Yeah, probably it's all about the standards.
I want-
Maybe these days the standards are low. I don't know. Just my guess.
Yeah,
Maybe,
what
but
were you gonna
let's do
say,
a
David?
comparison. We got to do a survey. Now, because you just talked about how the music and the taste changed and stuff like that. So remember a couple of years ago, back when you were graduating high school, there was this thing called dubstep. Remember that shit? Remember
Yes.
dubstep, you guys?
Yes.
It's like, where do you go to hear it now? I don't hear it anywhere, but I used to hear it in the supermarket back then. You know what I mean?
nowhere to be
which do you
heard.
think
Yeah.
you would prefer? Would you rather have to listen to dubstep as the next trend to come back, or for rap to continue for the next 5-year trend? Alex and
Dubstep
Nika,
for
what's your
sure.
choice? I thought she would. What about you?
Well,
Big Man?
I'd say dubstep plus drum and bass because in my mind they kind
Ooh.
of work together. They can work together. Yeah, if they work together, it's the perfect mixture. I love it when dubstep and drum and bass meet each other.
I'm almost on board
Yeah.
for that. Jesse, as if your opinion matters, what do you say, sir?
I'm kind of split on that. Because you're talking about the specific lane of hip hop that's going on, basically the mumble rap thing.
I'll give you a
or-
specific
or-
one.
Yep.
Let's say if it was like 5 years of everything sounding like Travis Scott. There, I threw down the gun. I picked a specific place.
I would have to go. I would have to go electronic and dubstep because I'm more into that, and I have more artists that I like.
I knew it.
I know, but like I
know
love
how to pick 'em.
Kendrick Lamar. I've actually been listening to a lot of J. Cole while I've been here, and it's great. And I'm actually like, there's certain artists I really, really love, but overall, as far as sound wise and what I would want to get down to on a festival or like on a drive or at home, it would probably be like, I don't know, something more along the lines of like Dead Mouse, like Boards of Canada, or even like Skrillex. Like I can fuck with that.
Yeah, Skrillex
Dead Mouse.
is great.
Go
No, man,
hard.
I mean those kids, they are talented, no doubt there. It's just all over the place, this music, and especially
Yeah.
living in Los Angeles, like every single car that is passing by, rap
Yeah.
music is playing from there, and it's it's distractive. That's the right word.
Destructive.
Destructive to describe it, like.
Yeah.
The level of the emotional level is so fucking low. I don't know because of the themes they're singing about, rapping about, right? So it's like
Because we don't mind hip hop. I
Yeah.
mean, Mike Shinoda, I love him. I mean, I'm a huge LP fan and all that.
it all comes down to what they're singing about,
Right? You're right.
Okay.
And of course, the vibe.
and the vibe is so mellow. The other day, actually yesterday, we've talked with Nika about it, like. Remembering us being teenagers, we were so into something that is pumping and something
Yeah,
that is
like pop
energetic.
punk,
And
fun.
yesterday I made a little guitar cover on Billie Eilish. And we were just talking about
Yeah.
how mellow she is, even though her target audience are teenagers, right? So, like, are they oh, I'm sorry, my tongue is tired a little bit.
Oh, go for
Are they all stoned?
Stoned. Everybody's stoned,
or
man.
On antidepressants. Why is this music that's
So
supposed to be for teenagers only? Why is this music so fucking mellow? Where's fucking punk rock? Where's energy?
Where's energy, right? It's not about genre. It's about energy for me.
I just don't see teenagers listening to such mellow songs and really enjoying it because it's a different vibe. It's a different, like, it's so mellow. I don't know. Maybe if you are very depressed and if you're very high and stoned, maybe
Just
you'll
stoned.
like it. Maybe just stoned.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is it you're saying,
Maybe.
David?
Maybe.
I was saying
There's a
you guys-
possibility.
you guys, I love you guys because it's like you keeping it real, just like you always do. And I'm like, that's hitting on one of my kind of secret conspiracy theories, though. I was like, I've honestly suspected that for a long time too. And I love Billy. But I'm like, it's weird because I remember being that age and like the things I was like, System of a Down was big when I was a kid. And like and I was like, oh, Slipknot came out when I was a kid.
You
and
just
I was like,
wanted to
perfect.
hang bang.
You know,
like
yeah.
this.
And just like,
Yeah.
even though I definitely grew up, like, I'm still a hip hop fanatic, like, even then the stuff I listened to was like, I like the harder independent hip hop than like the mainstream, like, West Coast stuff. I like East Coast where it's grittier. You know what I mean? So that's what I remember from being that
100%,
age.
yeah.
And when I think about like, and I really do love Billy, and I think it's something special. But I think you're hitting on something like kids might be sad on some shit right now. Like you must be kind of sad all the time for that music to
all
to
the
really hit your
time.
frequency.
That's the point. It's
know,
impossible
'cause
to be sad all the time, especially if you are 16 or 18. You are just naturally optimistic at that age, right?
Oh, no,
Maybe
no,
later.
you're
No,
Well,
I
I
mean,
wasn't,
come on.
but
Let's
I
be
think most
realistic.
people are. I think most people are. I never
I
was.
mean,
Like,
we
I
would
never was. I never will
pretend,
be.
we would pretend, we would be sad and stuff, but somewhere deep down, we were still optimistic and positive and full of energy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
don't
bet
know.
Jesse feels that.
Yeah, I think it's such a mix. What were you saying, Davey?
No, I said I bet Jesse feels something similar. Please describe.
I don't know. It's for me. It's a mix of things because I grew up just a hardcore like metal, rock guy, right? So I was all into, like Davey mentioned, System of a Down, The Lamb of God, Slipknot, and then classic stuff too, like Trivium. That was another band that was just getting popular at the time, like that whole world, right? And then when I got into college, I just found this whole other world of jazz and funk and soul and R&B, and like that's more of what I listen to now. So like James Brown, Funkadelic, modern stuff like that. Leon Bridges is incredible. Alabama Shakes, all that kind of stuff. That's more of like my main. I still love rock and metal, but that's mainly what I listen to now. And I remember being a kid, it was like I was like angry about a lot of things in the world and, personally, but, I had an outlet for it. And so I found that because I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere because I just didn't gel with what was popular, as far as what most of my classmates were listening to. I think now, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody younger, but I think that there's people that are into weird, crazy underground music because with the internet being around for as long as it has, you have kids that are completely in their own bubble and they're not listening to anything anybody else is. And they're not, and you don't know about it just because you haven't heard about it or haven't been exposed to it. But on a mainstream level, it might be more, there's a lot of kids that love Billie Eilish and Phoebe Bridgers and all of these really, songwriters that are putting out phenomenal music, but it's, really sad and introspective. And, it's, I have to ask is like, is this something that's being forced upon people, or is this something where it's, it's touching a nerve going on right now? And I think it's more of something just with the way our society is. And it's just, for some reason, this is speaking to people more than, hey, let's go out and have a good time. And it's like, no, I'm feeling this way at the moment. And also it's weird because some of this music can be happy sounding, but when you read the lyrics, it's like, oh, wow, and it's that Tom Waits quote that I love. I love beautiful melodies telling me horrible things. And so I usually pick up on the beautiful melody before the horrible lyrics, and then I actually read it and I go, man, that person's going through a hard time right now.
Seems like everybody's going through tough times these days,
Right.
Like every single person on earth. Can this be true? Can this be true?
Yeah, I think
sure
I think that, I think that with what you guys are doing, it's cool because now I think that as much as there's going to be a lane for that kind of music and outlet, and it should be there because I definitely need that kind of music, it's good to have music when you're not wanting to feel that way, or sometimes I don't want to sit in the sadness. I want to like distract myself from that, and I want to lift myself up from that. It's
Totally. Like I never listen to sad music. For me, it's always I'm in a bad mood. I'm gonna listen to songs that will pull me out. So that's our main message. We try to keep things positive, even though we know how hard it is for people nowadays, and especially it's become all right to talk about like mental illness, and everybody's like, oh, I'm so anxious, and everybody has anxiety, and we
it's
try.
like singing sad songs is like watching the news.
Yeah.
I mean, it can get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Right.
The question is, what's the point?
Yeah, so that's why, we try to keep it positive as much as we can. Of course, it doesn't mean that we don't understand. We understand, and that is
Right.
why we try to keep it positive.
Yeah, I think that
Absolutely.
now there should be more of a lane opening up for bands like yourself, where it's more of an upbeat, have a good time kind of a thing. Because there is going to always be a lane for that sadness. And when I want to listen to a song get hit by a truck, I've got a whole playlist. Like when I want it to just hit me like a wave, I've got a whole playlist for that. When I want to get down and have a good time, I've got other playlists for that too. And I think. Something you just mentioned that I wanted to ask you, with moving to LA and you're talking about hearing this music and the environment and you've lived in the city for a while now and you're absorbing all the sensibilities of it. Do you feel that that's changed or influenced you dramatically, as musicians, as people? Do you hear it in your creative process at all?
Totally, yes, 100%. I've noticed that it affects you. I mean, it still does. Even though if you are not into rap music or hip hop music, your environment affects you. So that's why we wrote a song called "What's Wrong with Us."
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I made it on purpose. Actually, I was using the hip hopish tools.
Hi-hat.
Yeah, like
everything.
I wanted to sound. I wanted to make it sound like
Very modern.
modern hip hop in a way. And we have some other numbers that are in the mood of modern hip hop, you might call it. But I was just thinking about it the other day. It's interesting how when you write songs, the environment, even though you're sitting in the room, the environment, the outside affects you as well. Like the sun always shining, the people who are kind around you. It all, like, even the birds are singing, they are affecting you in a good way. So I think definitely moving to Los Angeles kind of helped us, unleash so many things that probably have been locked inside when we were in Russia. Because of as I said before,
Yeah,
the weather is shitty. People
experience-
are angry, at each other. And
Is surrounding.
yeah, and here you can be whoever, you can
shitty
do
is
whatever.
it?
And it's it's liberating.
shitty.
It's liberating.
Really
here.
shitty.
Very liberating.
Oh, wow. Man, let me tell you, as
That's
a native
awesome.
Californian,
Hear that?
as a native Angelino, it's hard to see that side of things. But it's food for thought for sure, because this will always be like that creepy song from the Chili Peppers. LA is always under the bridge to me. It's like it's full of menace and harm, and it means nobody well. But I love that, and the weather
we
is
still
fine.
see the
The
bridges.
weather's fine.
And we
I
still
can't
see
lie.
the
The weather
homeless
is
people.
nice.
But yeah, we just
But
don't
yeah.
focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're all trying
Right.
not to focus on that, unfortunately. Man, that's some
Yeah.
shit for another podcast. Oh, God, that hurts. to
Yeah,
see.
I was going to say
But-
that's another podcast in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, which we're gonna do that. We're gonna get into that shit later. But where were we?
Yeah,
Jesse, do you have something?
Oh, I was just going to say, I like hearing the perspective of LA from people who've had to move and literally start their life over than people who have kind of grown up in and around it. Because it's,
Okay.
I think you can have certain biases about it. You don't necessarily see the potential of, I don't necessarily see it as a place where you can be whatever you want to be necessarily. I kind of see a lot of the stuff I don't like in society, which is a certain amount of phoniness and people talking down to people that they think are beneath them, but then talking up and changing their whole demeanor for people that they perceive to help them. And and I'm sure you see that too. But it's nice to hear of seeing this place as a somewhere where you can really expand who you are and follow your dream. And it's nice to hear that side of things too.
Yeah, we've seen both. It's what we decide to focus on. So, yeah, thank you guys for having us. And definitely is
Jesse,
super nice.
I wanted to say one more time, your questions were so on point today. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. We enjoyed answering them. Yeah.
Yeah, David, thank you for
David, thank you so much.
discovering us and inviting us here. You guys are awesome.
And keep it
Yeah.
up. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. We absolutely will. And I was going to say, before we wrap up, anything you wanted to plug or anything
gotta
else you
plug
wanted
stuff?
to say before we sign off?
Well,
So,
would
for
say just
example,
go to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
where can we come
Oh,
up on
easy.
this lovely merch, you guys? Where will I ever go to find
Aw.
myself a delicious Chase the Comet cap or a fat-free Russian and Rule CD?
Actually, we're running
And they're
final
vegan
clearance
products.
sale.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're running a huge discount on our website right now for everything, honestly, because as I said, we're supposed to leave. So I'm giving up to 75% off on all items.
Nice.
So chasethecomet.com, that's where you can find our store and more about us, more videos, more music, all our social media. Just chasethecomet.com and we'll see you around.
Awesome. Cool.
Nice.
Well, you'll be able to find links to all of that stuff in the description, as well as their Spotify and all of their socials. Please give them a follow. They're a very unique band in a time where we need unique bands. So thank you again to Chase the Comet, Nika, Alex. You're awesome, and you're welcome on the podcast anytime you'd like. And hey, we're starting to do live sessions in the studio too, so who knows? Maybe we can get you guys in there and do something and get some music happening now that things are reopening.
Sounds fantastic.
Yay. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Awesome. Guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
Go
Bye,
Svidaniya.
guys. Thanks for
Yay.
having us.
Bibbidi bop bop, here comes outro. Skibbidi bop, bitch, here's your outro. What do you want? The nice tomorrow. It's the outro, the fucking outro. Hi, Jesse. You were like the
Nice.
chimes, like the little percussion chimes just then. I felt that.
Yep.
Yeah, I swore a lot.
It's
in that
just
song.
give it a little hint of magic at the end.
Just a touch, a little happy cloud here and there too. Let's say, who knows?
Yes. You
Yes.
know what? I owe you a bit of gratitude and thanks this week, Monsieur Davey.
Okay, I'm listening. I mean, you're welcome for whatever you're talking about. For sure.
Yeah. No,
You're my dude.
I was gonna say because you sort of helped me out with being on the road this week with not only arranging the guest, but a phenomenal guest that we've had today at that, and getting some insightful information on things that I know nothing about, which is being good at the dang old social media that all them kids are on these days. So yeah,
Bro.
thank you.
Hey, man, you're most welcome. You know, it's this is a labor of love that the three of us put together, and it's a team effort. And I thought it was a perfect time because I've been like, I always thought that they could potentially be good podcast guests, but I was like, as time went on and we were like, chopping up more and stuff on social media, I was just like, I think this is really going to be a really good interview because they just really are so down to earth and direct. And they do know a lot about that stuff that you and I are practically like fucking babies on. I mean, when it comes to social media. You posted a nice one. You guys were slapping on some Sly the other day, and I was loving that. So you didn't even bring your bass? That was somebody else's bass or what?
No, I'm staying with my buddy. If y'all go to my Instagram page, which is in the description above or below, whichever your preference is, I was basically just going out here to hang with friends and have a good time, and then out here I just sort of had this epiphany of like, not epiphany, but just sort of motivating thing of, hey, if you want to be a musician. And you're, well, not even if you are. See, it's I'm getting over that whole thing. Like, I already am a musician, and like I don't feel uncomfortable playing in front of people. So what's the difference if I just film it and post it? And just getting over that whole being afraid that I suck thing if I just do something like this where I have a camera in front of me and I'm just playing. And so I don't have my bass, I don't have my gear, the lighting wasn't perfect, and I didn't have any like I wasn't gonna like check the footage at all. It was literally like, I'm just gonna put this up in front of me. Just, does this camera angle look all right? Yeah, and then just play. And it was good
You lucked
because I
out.
would
You-
never do that. Never do that at home.
You
If
would
I had
never
all
do
the
that at home?
resources. Well, no, because if I had all of my resources at home with like a computer and an interface and gear, I'd probably go straight in and I would just be there alone and I would be looking at the camera and playing and be very stoic,
don't do
and
that.
it would be crap, and it wouldn't be me. It would be me really nervous, like, okay, I'm going to play some bass now. And, it was a good
That's
icebreaker.
one thing that really-
so.
One thing that really comes across in that clip that I saw was how happy and at ease you seemed, like jamming with him. And I was like, this is good to post, even if with any other like quality consideration to the side. That being said, I've been working on video production a lot lately, and you looked out. You got a lot of natural light in the shot, so it's pretty well lit. I was like, again though, I could tell it was like incidentally framed that way. But I was like, hey, I'm not, we're not in film school right now. But it was beautiful because it was about that moment where you guys were getting down, really.
Well, thank you, man. It's something where it's a really tiny step into building up that confidence in myself, and talking on this podcast has been one of them. That was a good step. And then doing something like this is another step of like, okay, I'm going to film myself playing I don't know if I'll pick a day where I have to like post every day of the week, but I'm going to be doing it on a regular basis. So if anybody's interested in that, feel free to check it out. And yeah, even we did Sissy Strut, and we were just, jamming on that solo section, and I was tapping my leg so intensely that this little tripod that I had the camera on was shaking. And normally I would have been like, oh, I can't post it because the camera's shaking and that's going to look bad. And then I thought, no, like just, I got video of a bunch of the different songs we jammed, and they weren't all like that. So I'm just going to stick it at the end of the post, still post it, and just go for it. And it's like, yeah, it's not perfect. Well, and neither am I. So surprise.
No, but it's authentic. I'll say that.
That's the goal.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
I'm an arbiter of all things authentic.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your encouragement, and you being the person you are is one of the for people in my life that have, given me sort of a push forward. You've been one of those people since doing the podcast. So I appreciate you and all of your input.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. That's why I do it. It's like I see all of your potential, and I just want to encourage it when I know sometimes times get tough. They get tough for everybody. And I know you're one of those people who feels it because you're such a sensitive person, and that's why I like you, because you're such a sensitive person. You're so aware of other people. So it's really just like you already paid it forward, so you don't have to thank me for shit. But
Well, thank you, man.
I'm swollen with pride right now, just the same.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, before we make our citizens nauseous with this love fest that's going on via Zoom at the moment, I would like to thank. Moist. I was going to say, I'm bringing a little bit of that humidity from Nashville, and I'm just bringing it into this.
Yeah, something in my eye, man. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm fine though. Fuck it. I'm fine. Yeah. What were you saying, bro? Yeah.
I was going to say, just real quick, as is tradition, I would like to thank all of the citizens from week to week, and new listeners who might be a fan of the artists and guests we have on here coming in and joining us, and who have made it this long into the podcast. We appreciate you very much. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Shoot us a DM or a comment if you want to get, more of a certain kind of artist on, if you want more of certain genres on, or maybe things outside of music too. People who might be painters or graphic artists or actors, or anybody creative is welcome in this council space. So let us know.
These things he says, they are true. All of these things are true. So heed the words of the Jesse. He keepeth wise counsel, indeed.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, fellow citizens, and we shall see you next week.
Oh, God. And it doesn't mean you have license to do a wizard voice, bro. Wizard voice from Nashville, bro. All right, citizens. God bless you. Get out of here. Dismissed.
Sonic City Council was created by Jesse Davidson and Davey Sipes and engineered by Max Taylor at Desert Sound Studio in Palmdale, California. Thank you to Disaster Cabinet for the outro music. Intro music written by Max Taylor. Sonic City Council is produced in association with Amped Music Academy and the Showcase Venue. For more information, visit theshowcasevenue.com.